I was thinking Bonkers concept has been around for quite a while, about 15, 16 years. People have started trying to figure out, how do I work this, how do I make this into a script, and some people have said it's gunfight at the E.T. Corral. There's one of the writers, Mark Fergus, says it's it's kind of a Close Encounters meets the Searchers. Was there something in you that you said, I know where this is, I know what this is about, because it's such a potentially kind of wild film, you wouldn't know where it's going to go?
I think the honest truth is that I've always wanted to do a cowboy movie and thought that I'd never get asked because I'm from Liverpool, and when's the chance going to come along? And when this did, even though it was called Cowboys and Aliens and made me think that it was going to be a comedy, and I read the script and they wanted to play it straight and just say, let's make a cowboy movie and let the aliens land and see what happens, as opposed to it sort of being a sort of tongue-in-cheek kind of nod to the genres and sort of like, sort of a knowing kind of, sort of something that was knowing. And actually this is sort of, innocent characters hitting this extraordinary situation. And that seemed to me to be the best way of doing it.
Of course, your character's that sort of Sergio Leone iconic idea of the man with no memory, really, the man with no name, sort of comes into town, and those sort of influences. I know that Steven Spielberg gave the director Jon Favreau an iPad with The Searchers and Stagecoach and Unforgiven and Shane and so forth. Was there a little bit of that sort of for you to sort of tap into, that you sort of?
I stole everything I could. Don't you worry. I mean, I just watched. I mean, yeah. I mean, you have to, because I mean, you would be failing if you sort of tried to make a Western and didn't sort of look back and see where the kind of, where the sort of iconographic images of Westerns, but also the sort of the morality of a Western, and so certain rules and regulations you kind of have to stick to, because there's a certain look, there's a certain feel, there's a certain way you hold yourself, and your attitude towards life and things. So I watched everything.
I was thinking too that if there's a message in the movie, I guess it's the fact that Americans of all races, colours, creeds, religions will unite when it comes to keeping a new foreigner out of their country. I think there's that sort of belief that we don't want anybody else in here. But also I thought maybe this is the beginning of Scientology. Maybe this is where it all started, because there is an element of possibility.
Christ almighty, you're the first person to bring that up. But hey, let's discuss.
Could be true. Yeah, I'm sure we wouldn't get into trouble if we riffed on that for a while. But you said too, I remember on the set they were doing some interviews and they have to go and get snakes that might be just running around and they have to clear the set and all that kind of stuff. And you kind of joked that there was literal ones and metaphorical ones, and that idea that when you're at that level now, that you and Harrison and all that, you're in that sort of the big side of the successful side of Hollywood. Does it still feel like a tough game, a tough path to take, because there's so much politics and so much business around you? Or I don't know if you can relax.
I try and just ignore all that and just try and get on with my job. I mean, that's all I can do, and it's all I've ever done. Is that I'm lucky enough to get sent scripts like this and get the opportunity to work with these people who are kind of at the top of their game, and to work with Harrison Ford and do things like that. I mean, I see that as just being incredibly fortunate, and I just give it my best shot. I mean, genuinely. I mean, yes, there are politics involved. Yes, there's a whole thing. But if you get your head wrapped around it, you're screwed, I think.
I was thinking doing Santa Fe, New Mexico, a very hot spot you're shooting out in the wild, and you've got guys in grey suits running around with ping pong balls on their heads, and you're kind of there with the great Harrison Ford.
Well, you've got to laugh.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. There must be part of you who thinks like, where am I at? Like, what's going on
but
here?
At least, I mean, I think, I think when sometimes you're on a film set and you kind of go, what the hell am I doing here? And you really don't know what you're doing there. At least when you're on horseback and there are guys running around with ping pong balls on their heads, you kind of go, I know what I'm doing here. It's funny.
I should ask of the different projects you have coming up. You've shot with Jim Sheridan, Dreamhouse, and I don't know how that was, because I haven't seen Jim for a while. Was it
Well, I love Jim, and I love working with him, and I'd work again with him at the drop of a hat. So I mean, there was some trouble on the movie. It's just about finished. We'll wait and see. I don't know what the sort of finished article is going to be like, but it was great working on it.
I've spoken to you a few times, and the great thing I think for you when it came to when that sort of breakthrough happened with Bond, that you already had a good career, you already had a lot of work behind you, either theatre and film, and people knew who you were. And I think when you heard that news, you got nicely drunk on your own. I think you went to a supermarket, got a bottle of something or other, and kind of drank yourself. But you knew, I guess, at that point that from here on in, I've got to choose all different kinds of roles, because there's always that slight danger if you get an iconic part.
Yeah, but I didn't really. I put that to bed very early. I just thought if I didn't get the chance to do anything else ever again for the rest of my life, then doing Bond wouldn't be a bad thing. So but I've just been lucky. I mean, the past 2 years have been off. We've had a break from Bond, and I've managed to sort of find sort of really nice things to do. Play the cowboy, and I mean, that's not a bad thing.
And the producing side, I know I spoke to you for Flashback, that having a little bit of strength now that you can get, hopefully, projects that you like up on the screen. Is that something that's still a big part
I think it is. I mean, it's not something I'm sort of I'm always actively pursuing, but it's definitely something that I kind of think about. I mean, and I'd love to do some theatre again soon. I suppose producing kind of comes into that as well, because I have to sort of figure that out, what we're going to do. But yeah, it never really stops that.
So you're having fun?
I'm having fun, yeah.
Swine.
Yeah,
Lovely, Chubby.
Sorry, I apologise.
Thank you. That's all right.